The flashing red and blue lights strobed across the empty roadside, cutting through the thick silence of dusk. The officer's boot crunched gravel as he stepped from his cruiser, his face twisted in irritation. "Get out of the car now," he barked, one hand already near his holster. The black woman inside the silver sedan, wearing a clean but plain navy shirt, simply blinked and responded calmly, "Officer, may I ask why I'm being stopped?" Before we continue, if you are watching our video for the first time, you're highly welcome to your favorite channel, Elliot Stories. Please bless and support us by hitting that subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell to get notified for more heartwarming stories coming your way tomorrow and never to miss any. Share to friends who love stories filled with twist and good morals, and also to loved ones who love respect, equity, and justice no matter the cost. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our story travels. And to other beautiful and hard-working YouTubers, let's interact in the comment section. I hope to see you soon. To our unique constant viewers, our highly esteemed subscribers, lovely new viewers, and our first-time subscribers, thank you for being part of our wonderful journey daily. We truly appreciate you. Now, back to the story. The officer's voice raised again, cutting across her words. "License and registration, now. Hands where I can see them." The woman, in her mid-30s, didn't flinch. She moved slowly, deliberately, so there could be no misunderstanding. She reached for her purse on the passenger seat when the officer suddenly yelled, "Don't reach! Hands up!" Her hands froze mid-air. "Sir, I was reaching for my ID. It's in my wallet." But the officer, fueled by bias more than fact, was already walking toward the driver's side, barking over the radio, "Possible 10 to 32, black female, non-compliant." His hand rested fully on his gun now. The woman looked ahead, eyes steady, hands raised. "I haven't done anything wrong. I have no weapons. I just want to understand." The officer pulled open her door without warning. She startled but didn't resist. "Step out of the vehicle," he shouted again. And then it happened. As she stepped out cautiously, her wallet, slightly open from the side, fell from her lap to the ground. Out slipped a badge, polished, official, and impossible to ignore. It hit the asphalt with a cold metallic sound. A bright FBI seal gleamed under the dying sun. The officer froze. His voice caught in his throat. His face paled. He slowly crouched, picked up the badge, and read it carefully. The nameplate read, "Special Agent Naomi Carter, Federal Bureau of Investigation." There was dead silence. Naomi took a deep breath, standing tall now, the wind tossing the strands of her braided ponytail. Her calm demeanor hadn't shifted, but her eyes now carried fire. "Is this how you treat every citizen, officer?" she asked, her voice soft, yet cutting like a scalpel. The officer opened his mouth but only exhaled a choked stammer. I thought, I didn't know." "Didn't know what?" she challenged, stepping forward now. "That I was a federal agent? That I had authority beyond your jurisdiction? Or did you just see a black woman by the roadside and assume criminality?" Another patrol car was now pulling up, alerted by his earlier call. Two other officers stepped out. One recognized Naomi immediately. "Agent Carter." The second officer snapped upright, stunned. Naomi didn't acknowledge him. Her eyes remained on the first cop. "You called for backup on a law-abiding citizen. Accused me of being armed. Drew your weapon. On what grounds?" The young officer with the badge in hand began shaking slightly. He muttered, "I thought you were reaching for something else." "No," Naomi said sternly, "you assumed I was. And in this country, that assumption has ended too many lives prematurely." One of the other officers walked over to Naomi, whispering something with concern. She responded in a clipped tone. "Yes, I want his badge reported. Immediately. Bodycam footage submitted." The officer began to plead. "Agent Carter, please, it was a mistake. I didn't mean any harm." She turned to him with a piercing stare. "Mistakes like yours get people killed. And I won't let this slide." 3 days later, a mandatory press conference was held in the city precinct. Chief McKinley stood at the podium, flanked by 2 internal affairs officers. Cameras flashed. Reporters buzzed. "We are aware of the incident involving Officer Russell and Special Agent Naomi Carter of the FBI," the chief began. "We deeply regret the encounter and are working hand-in-hand with federal authorities for a full investigation." Questions flew across the room. Is Officer Russell suspended? Was this racially motivated? What is Agent Carter's condition? Meanwhile, Naomi was in Washington, testifying before a joint panel on law enforcement misconduct. Her video testimony had already gone viral. Her words carried the weight of lived experience. It wasn't about power, she said to the committee. It was about perception. We live in a system where skin color can be mistaken for threat, where compliance still leads to confrontation. The panel was moved. Senators took notes. Policy conversations began swirling around how to implement more practical de-escalation training and implicit bias evaluations. Back at the precinct, Officer Russell was reeling. The incident had sparked protests. Civil rights groups marched with signs that read, "Badge or not, we matter." His name had become a headline. His face splashed across media. A letter soon arrived for him, unmarked, unsigned. Now you know how quickly a life can turn. Use that pain. Change the system you were once a part of. He kept reading it over and over, until finally, he took off his badge voluntarily. 3 months later, Naomi was invited to speak at a university seminar titled Justice, Not Just Us. Students, faculty, officers, and community leaders filled the auditorium. She stood before them, her story no longer just her own. "Let me make something clear," she said. "This isn't a story about revenge. This is a call to transformation. We don't seek to humiliate. We seek accountability. And with accountability comes healing." The crowd stood, applauding. In an unexpected twist, Officer Russell reappeared. He was no longer in uniform. Now, he served as a counselor in a youth mentorship program for at-risk teens. His voice was different, softer, wiser. "I was once the problem," he admitted to a group of young boys. "But if you learn, if you change, you can become part of the solution." Naomi heard about this later and simply nodded. "Good," she said. "Let him redeem his name with action." The story didn't end in anger. It ended with responsibility. It ended with change. And perhaps most importantly, it taught society something invaluable. Never judge a book by its cover, never underestimate quiet strength, and never assume you know someone's story based on what they look like. Moral lesson: this story reminds us that appearances deceive, assumptions kill, and respect must be the foundation of any just society. Law enforcement must be held to the highest standard, because with power comes responsibility. Every human deserves dignity until proven otherwise. We must always seek justice with humility, not just authority. This story was humbly crafted and brought to you by your favorite channel, Elliot Stories. Catch you on the next one. Huge appreciation from Elliot Stories.